Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Nosed Derby Podcast, take 6.
It takes something with it. You're only like 4 blue moons deep, dude, and it's all bad. You just wore a quarter of one.
That one's only going to be a halfer.
I don't know what happened. But we're here. I'm here. Let's go.
I hope everybody had a great Christmas.
Is it Christmas? I don't know. I don't know where I'm at right now.
Yes, it's right before New Year's Eve.
I'm broke.
Well, that's what happens when you have kids.
I was broke before we started Thanksgiving or Christmas, after Thanksgiving.
Well, you're laid off now, so that makes a big old difference.
True that.
Yeah. We got a guy sitting right next to you that's laid off right now, too.
Yeah, but he went back to work. Loser.
He's my bitch now.
We have got Greg Neal and John Petrosky with us down in the dungeon.
There's another one here, too.
Yeah, Brandy?
Yeah,
Brandy, she's just back there chilling.
We don't give her a mic, though. She's mean.
She's mean. She is mean. I mean...
Hey, I am who I am.
Yep.
Y'all love me for that. So it is what it is.
Well, you want to jump in and talk to them about their season? And
Yeah, because both these guys, they had a great season. They run quite a bit with Filthy Promotions.
Yep.
They did some Lucky 7 stuff as well. They live down where the Hootie House fuck the chickens.
True that.
So I think it's a little bit of drive for them about anywhere that we would have a show. So I know they did a lot more of the staying around home, the Eldon area, that's not too far from them, that type of spot. So let's just get it in. Greg, how'd you get into your derby career?
Actually was friends with a buddy, and he actually dragged me into his shop, and that friendship kind of depleted for certain reasons. And while we were building those cars, I actually met another guy that was friends with him, and Brian Zaworski, and it took off pretty good, and been friends forever now, and built several cars with those guys, about 4 or 5 of us group for about 10 years, and everybody kind of, either got families and moved on, or got out of the stuff, and I'm the only one still standing at the moment.
The only one still rolling.
Yeah.
This year was a first for you. You've always been a big car guy. He didn't have any luck in the big car because he threw together like a weak build, for our Columbia show.
Oh, yeah.
Car was right, just trying to say.
That thing stayed
Mm-hmm.
till the end, though.
Oh, yeah. But he turns around, he gets in a compact. At our Salisbury show was the first time he ran it.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat crow on this because I told him I'd never be in one. Yes.
Took 2 years of convincing.
So he goes to Salisbury. The track was, we've hit this so many times, the track was fucking garbage. I think he got hung up on the side away from me. But then you turn around and you come to Shelbina in that same said compact. But what was cool is that John was actually riding with you.
Yep. Yeah, at that first show I actually ran somebody else's car and the rack broke and couldn't get around. They tried pushing me around a little bit, but like I said, just shit track, but we tried our luck again. A different car, but yeah, it worked out good.
We did get to talk about when we had Tyler and Cody, with us. Yeah. You, Mr. John, was a little Lulu. Cartoons with the little birdies flying around and shit,
I looked over there and was like, holy shit. And then I went down there and I was like, hey, over here, buddy. And he was like, oh God, I want to get out. I was like, I don't blame you.
And his mom's sitting over there by us, she's freaking out because you guys are waving for the EMTs.
It was definitely a rough hit.
Yeah, he said that thing pretty much touched the cage.
Oh yeah, it came in, and everything's fair game on that track. I don't hold nothing against them.
Oh yeah.
And I almost broke off at that moment, but once I knew he was all right, I took a moment and we got it fired back up, and it still moved, so we kept on trucking. That's
pretty good odds. Getting a car twice and you win 50% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Well, that's because I don't get them enough, though.
Well, nobody does.
Don't let him lie to you. I can show you trophies later.
So you figured out that's something, you know, even going through buddies that got you into this game, even after you're not buddies, you know, but you still enjoy doing it. Like being on the track, and now, you know, your boy, you know, your boy he got it pretty honest. I mean, he just jumped in, what was he, 13, 14? Something
Yeah.
like that, if I remember.
Yeah, we
14?
stuck him. I think
He
his-
started riding at 14 and he drove his first car at 15 down at
Boonville. Boonville.
Boonville was the first drive for him.
Okay,
I
yeah,
rode with
Boonville.
him in a big car. He had a square body Lincoln, or square body Ford up there. And that car took a good little beating. It was ran 2 or 3 times. Brandy actually drove it after that. And at Shalbina
Shalbina.
in the powder puff class.
7 out of 20.
And but yeah, he's stepped right in there, and taking a little bit to get him to understand and take hits and not just have a full flip throttle on it. But you know, you get out there and put him in a gut and go car, which we built. Had a Pontiac, and he went down to California and ran. I spent all night fixing this goddamn car, and he came across the track in one hit. He was done. So yeah, I was a little upset. You know, I want to see him run a little bit, but
I'm pretty sure that after I ran Boonville, that next night I ran Paris in a gut and go, and it came down to me and Trey Hammond, first and second.
Yep.
Yeah, I
If I
remember.
ain't through,
Yeah.
oh, that was
because
a little Sebring.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's done well. He's starting to adjust to learn how to drive, and it takes time, you know. And you're different. When you go from a big car to a small car, it's totally different. I mean, it's a different feel. It's
Well, just like everything that you've learned in a big car, whether it's a Vic, Lincoln, Old Iron, or whatever, you know, you jump into, we kind of call them tanks. Those little weld compacts, dude, they're fucking nasty.
yep.
Are they? I've never seen one.
Never seen one? Well, you're usually getting a beer at that point in time.
I
Getting a hot
had that
dog.
discussion last night with somebody about how, you know, they say, well, you know how to build a car, you can build it. It's a totally different build though.
Yeah.
You got to know where to put stuff, and
takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
you know, these Camrys, nobody around here really runs them, and we're starting to figure them out. You know, Zer builds a hell of a Camry, and
And there's some guys across the river that are building the shit out of that.
Oh, yeah. That Zach Frutig dude, he is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's about all he's running if it's not a van.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Camry.
yeah,
I think Ron Brown built a Camry too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he took it to Spring X, maybe?
Yep. With
Something like that.
I think he ran with Zer in them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, those,
they're a different car. I mean, they're a different breed, but they do hold up well. I think we had 8 or 9 runs on that one with last year and this year. So it's
and you finished it with a bumper delete kit of your own.
Yep.
hey, it wasn't my weld that broke, so I'm good.
That,
That shit was wild.
yeah, well, the thing is that we pretty much pride ourselves in one of our shows. We're never going to pull a skid steer out to pull anybody apart. But when a
That was a little
bumper,
different situation.
correct, when said bumper is in the interior of another car,
Right.
broken off on homeboy's leg,
Right.
that what's going on? What's going on? Well, he just ate a fucking bumper.
The whole thing.
The whole thing, you know. So
That was the only time we've ever pulled anybody apart.
ever
Ever.
Yeah.
leave it to John.
Yep.
Just leave it to John.
Breaking y'all's rules.
Damn. So
I felt bad though.
That
I
was
went up
so much track for that few cars, though.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
so much track.
for sure, and it wasn't really soupy wet either. It was more of a dry, hard track. So there was way more traction, way more speed.
I was trying to prove a point. That was my fault.
there wasn't dust flying at that point in time. So because we just put just a little bit of water on it, and that was
120
it.
gallons is what I put on it.
All night long.
It worked out fine.
Yeah, except for he was pissed.
Should have took a better
John was
shot.
pissed, but you know, not very many times a pointy is just going to come off of a car
Yeah.
into another one.
That wasn't really even the thing I was really mad about. My fuel pump wires kept coming apart, so it is what it is. Learn something for next year. Don't tie your fuel pump wires to your battery cables when you got a passenger in.
See, you don't lose,
That's why I
you
don't put
learn.
that's why I don't put passenger seats and my shit.
I'm changing that. I'm changing the whole cage design on the passenger side. I'm gonna have battery cable, or my whole battery box is gonna be up by my shifter and everything. So therefore,
If something ever happens, you can
something
just
ever
reach
happens, I
right
can
to
just
it.
reach there. I ain't gotta reach over the center bar and worry about someone hitting me and breaking a rib.
Because that's a lot of the times, you know, where we see, and we have talked about the progression in the sport. We saw a picture of Chad Markley. The door shot that he fed Booger, his head hit the passenger door plate without the center bar.
Right.
Well, as John is just speaking right there, he is going to re-engineer everything so it's up. How many times do you see somebody reaching over
Oh, yeah.
to fuck with their battery and then
they-
just get stroked?
Uh-huh.
And then you're, oh, where am I at? You know, so just right there, he figured out real quick.
I've never run long enough to have that
Battery issue. Well, being that you now have a better transmission
Right.
behind the build, that will hopefully deplete some of that issue. And
Yeah, I'm
your
definitely
transmission will only run at 18
set
minutes.
up now. Running Mopar motor, Chevrolet transmission, and a Ford rear end.
We'll make sure we hear that bitch in a few months.
So you guys really did John ran pretty much everywhere, you know, this summer.
Everywhere.
Greg started his year teching.
Yeah, good time. Real good time.
It was one of them things that the techs who agreed that we were going to have for the year, the only way they agreed with it is they wanted to run the team show, and then after that, then they would to do the tech issue.
Which, all bullshit aside, that's not the first time Greg's been thrown into some of our bullshit.
Oh no.
He
No.
just showed up to watch.
No.
No.
Hey, what are you doing? Nothing? On
Jump
tech?
on these gut guts.
Fuck.
You gotta get on the dirt.
Okay.
Get shit rolling.
Yeah.
Being a team player.
Get twice the amount of cars you expect. You gotta do something. So, but no, that teching at the team show was a little bit of adventure. And I mean, some guys I've teched before and some I hadn't, and you know, trying to be fair with what you guys were going to do the rest of the year was
Right.
was a little different. We had a few issues there, you know, and
It worked though.
yeah, it did.
The show went on. We
It-
made it work.
You know, then that was one of the first times we had talked so much that we knew a lot of that stuff we were going to have issues with, but you know, just like the few issues that we had, you know, Greg just come right to you and was like, with the rules in his hands, I don't like this.
The creativity of the plates was one of the biggest things there.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, they got creative with it, you know, but it's just something we had to cross when we got there.
Yeah.
So some guys liked it, some guys don't, but
See, Greg was on the back end of that team show, and I don't think people have understood the amount of fucking chaos that was behind the scene to make that show work.
Yes.
Because that's what everybody's like. It seemed like it just rolled smooth as shit. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, you couldn't see what was under the surface of the fucking water.
It never does. I mean, you always think, man, this show just went off perfect. They just don't know all the ins and outs.
No.
I mean, oh yeah, you guys had 100 cars, great. Go tech 100 fucking cars
Yeah.
in 5 hours,
Right.
plus retechs,
Mm-hmm.
plus I'm loaded. I can't run. I get my money back now. So you get to go send one of the women to go deal with that shit, and then they get lippy with the women and pull here, push there.
and you want to see everybody run, but you got to keep your fine line with you guys with what you're
100%.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though we had two guys there that weren't going to tech your cars the rest of the year, you still got to be careful in what you say and what you do.
Right.
You guys, and the bottom line is you guys got to make the calls when it comes to that stuff.
Stepped in. I mean, that's when the professionalism comes in. You know, we've always said when you can't put 100% of wanting to be there, don't. So that's what we did. I mean, you know, last fall or this fall that they got half-assed stuff, in our opinion, from us. He lost it on somebody that I lost it on somebody. And at that point in time, you know what? It's time to back out a little bit. Let's go do some other shit. Let's go have some fun. Let's go watch more derbies, run more derbies.
Going fishing, ain't you?
Camping. I'm fishing, he's camping. But, you know, you got to see from both sides, you know.
Oh yeah, and I've helped Martins in the past, and when Jeremy was doing it, you know, and a lot of these guys, some of these guys know because they've helped, but some of these guys that have never done it don't realize the bullshit that you guys go through day in and day out when you're trying to do it. The phone calls, the text messages, and yeah.
There's days I would love to throw that fucking thing as far as I can throw it.
Oh, there was times that I was like, fuck it. I put it on Do Not Disturb and left it in the other room. Like,
you guys still got families, jobs, you know.
Mhm.
They got to realize that this isn't your main
that
priority.
was my deal. I think that was finally the straw. Was the 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning fucking phone calls.
The
I'm
night,
like,
the night before the
yeah, I'm
derby.
like, get fucked. I have to be up all day tomorrow and half the fucking night. And
The 6 o'clock in the mornings, those would piss me off worse than the middle of the night ones.
I'm like, fuck, man, fuck. If your shit's not done by now,
Easy.
Leave.
Easy. Easy. I was in there till 3 a.m. the night before.
he kept texting me that whole week before Boone County, and he was like, "I'm gonna make it." I was like, "You are fucking insane,"
But
because he's going to work the whole time. Like
Yeah.
he's going to work. I'm getting a fucking snap up in the morning at 7 o'clock that he's at work, sitting at his desk. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna hang it up for tonight. I'm like, holy fuck.
Staying up till 12, 1 o'clock. There was one night I didn't stay up with them, and that was just because I was done. I was over it. I'm like,
And see, here's the problem. You're young.
yeah.
Without any extracurricular activities, I used to be able to stay up 20, 30, 35, 40 hours.
Yeah.
Now, I'm lucky if I can get to 24 without just
Shit, I'm
falling
lucky
out.
to get to 10. I'm like, man, I need a fucking recliner somewhere.
Well, you know, another thing y'all need to keep in mind too is he also took care of me
Right.
because I had to deal with my situation, which I'm still dealing with. I mean, so.
I shouldn't even really
know.
even thought about running that show, but it was close to home, and
But I supported you,
That-
you know,
well,
and that's
that-
what makes us work is because this is our family. Derbian is us.
That makes
You
a
know.
big difference, you know, when it's if you're not hauling 3-4 hours.
yeah,
You know,
oh
if you're
yeah.
hauling less than an hour, that makes the stuff a little bit easier. I mean, I
Well,
wish
even
you
if
would have
something
planned
doesn't-
ahead a little bit better.
Maybe.
Maybe give yourself a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks instead
Oh no,
of just
he
4 days.
He waited till the weekend. He's like Friday night. He's like, yeah. So I was thinking that I'm just gonna go ahead and start building for Booneville. And I was like, when is it? He's like,
Boone
next
County.
week or Boone County. And I was like, well, when is it? He's like, next week. I said, okay, well, whatever you want to do.
So,
So I mean,
asked Young in here if we could get it done. He said we should build
and they
it.
did. They knocked it out.
So, but
I think it was that Friday night is the night that I didn't stay up. I stayed up till like 12 o'clock, and I said, I'm done. I said, if you want it done, we can finish it in the morning. He's like, well, I'm going to stay down here. 3 o'clock, I get a Snapchat saying, well, I guess we're going to roll out in the morning.
And he did.
But that's been what's nice about, you know, these last few weeks, all that rain and shit. Like, I have, well, I guess, you know, last 3 or 4 weeks. I haven't
Yeah.
worked a full week in a month, or, yeah.
Yeah.
like a
I'm
month
probably
and a half.
grateful of being in that goddamn equipment with no windows.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
No
But-
heat, no windows.
But it has gave me an opportunity to go get my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to work on it during the day. You know, I've had all day to do my shit.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is the farthest ahead of schedule I've ever been.
Yeah, because I told you if it wasn't done before the beginning of March, you're getting dick punched.
Right.
You've been actually told that multiple times.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that, you know, here in the next week or so, we're listening to it run. We can go park it in a shed somewhere. And then all we got to do is pull it out and tune it before we go.
Yeah, hoping after the first of the year, you know, since all the holiday stuff is going
Yeah.
to be over and done with, and New Year's and all that stuff, then we'll have a few weekends we can get in there and just go ahead and just rip it out and,
Well, yeah,
be, and
you
be
know,
done.
Yep. Well, that's the game plan. Like, as it sits right now, you know, I mean, it's ready. Like, it's all the parts are set.
Motherfucker all giddy over here like a 3-year-old.
he is.
Well, usually I'm the one that's the week before the Derby, like, oh, fuck.
Did you see that sparkle in his eyes?
And usually, the cars that he's bringing in, you're kind of looking at, you're like, that thing's too new to have floorboard issues and all sorts of shit. And then this one he brings in, you're like, I'd eat off that.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
Twice I would eat off that. You
Yeah.
know, so even though it is a fucking Mopar,
Quit. They're good one-run cars. Everybody's told you that. You need to listen.
I know. But guys, on the last episode we were talking. We have so many promoters around here now, even after we have stepped away. Solo Boys promotion has started. You have the Showtime officials with the Goatee promotion guys, and you still have the CDP stuff with Artie Clark and them guys.
JMB or JMB.
JMB. I know you guys are always constantly looking at rules and rule changes. Even though if you're going to run a gut and go van, gut and go Camry, Weld Compacts, big car Lincolns, you guys are always playing in the rules. Are you seeing what we're hearing a lot of the so many people are so far off from each other?
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could get on the same page, because one, you can run a slider in the hobo class, one you can't. It's just, you either have to build for one promoter, it seems like anymore, or you got to build for the light-in promoter and then hope you can scab it back together for another one, depending on what's close to home and what you want to do. With him and the compact stuff, it's a little different. I think you can probably put a compact together a little easier than you can a big car, to be honest with you.
Or you can start out as a gut and go and make it into a mod. We've
Yeah.
done that a couple times.
But it's like JMB's got the cradles. If Lucky Sevens goes to cradles this year, there'll be plenty of places to run a cradle car. But if they don't, you got to decide which way you want to go. Because you either got to go across the river and take a cradle car over there, or you pull it out and take a chance of it bending. We haven't had a cradle on a Camry yet. We've got them. They haven't been in there yet, and it'll totally change the car and how it bends and what it does. So,
And that's what we a lot of the guys on that side of the river we have spoken with. They're building down because the first P Hill show we go over it was April. I mean, the wheels are fucking 5 cars
Yeah.
and running for not punk money. I mean, running
Right.
for like $2,000, and it comes down to 5. Cody Meyer puts a gut and go in a mod car or in the mod class and cashes a check because a couple hits the other
Good
guys
cash,
were
better
gone.
check.
Yeah. If he would have just known Clayton said CV axles
Good go.
gone. But that's what we're running into, and we were talking with Cody on last week. There's so many of these guys that are just going to these big shows, and I know I talked to a couple weeks ago. We were down at a poker tournament, and he had mentioned a team show way up north.
Iowa.
know, Yeah, north of Des Moines or something like
Yeah,
that.
It's about 4.5, 5-hour drive.
For us.
So where we're seeing a lot of the local stuff being hurt, and it's not that it's because those big shows weren't there before. The big shows have always been there. Your Blizzard
Oh, yeah.
Bash, your Spring X, your Mayhem.
it's venturing into new things.
Correct. Back in the day, it was Border Wars. The original Border Wars, Missouri, Illinois, and not the Nebraska side. So, but it looks like everybody has just shifted to the big side, and we keep on saying we don't want to see any promoter fail, but we're thinking with not getting on the same page with other promoters in the area, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Even, and I got to thinking about how localized we were talking about that. They're not even really on board with shit that is surrounding us state-wise.
No, not at all.
And I think that's where you're really going to run into the problem with that shit, because we were drawing those out-of-state cars.
Mhm.
I mean, there might be people that were showing up to our shows that didn't realize it, but we had Kansas, Illinois,
Iowa.
Iowa. Hell, we even had a couple out of Indiana come down.
Yep.
And that was because that street stock rule reached out so far. That they had shit that they could come run down here.
Yeah, even if it was just a little tweaking.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, just plates touching or something stupid like that.
Correct.
A little bit of seam weld that needed to be ground out. Like, whatever. Like, we were so in tune with the rules that were going on around us That's why we were having 100-car derbies.
Well, and you guys seem like you had a happy medium with the big car and compact. These other promoters you go to, and they're either real dominant on big cars,
Right.
or they were real dominant on compacts. Well, now you're seeing compacts kind of peter off, and it's going to change things for a lot of guys.
Or they put shows the same dates too. That's
That
another
kills
killer.
it.
Don't even get me started.
That's another killer.
It does.
Even if there was a week apart, I mean, there's 4 or 5 shows he could have went and ran, but there's a pissing match with trying to put shows on the same date and draw more cars.
It's really depicting on how far somebody is wanting to drive.
And I'll go ahead and say it, they were so fucking stupid that they didn't realize that they were hurting themselves
They are.
too. I mean,
They are. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, you get
it's
3.
not really hurting themselves, it's hurting the drivers, because the thing is the drivers want to run. They
Yeah.
want to go to shows. But how do they pick and choose?
But it's still hurting themselves because they're killing their own
Yeah.
car count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They
you go to a promoter that you know your car's built for, or do you go to a show that's 30 minutes closer to home and go to a promoter you don't know what you're going to get?
Yep.
Right.
You know, it's like I think Shelbina and maybe Warrenton fell on the same night or something like that this year. Well, we go to Shelbina because the car's built for you
Right.
filthy shows. You know, if Warrenton had been a week later or a week earlier, we'd probably go to it too because it's only 35 minutes from the house.
Wasn't there 3 shows the same night? One night,
Oh.
Salisbury, Higbee, and
No, we had Salisbury and Centralia.
Yeah.
That was the same night.
Yeah.
And then there was a
Then we
Huntsville
had
and something
Eldon
else.
and Shelbina.
Yep, that was the same night.
And it hurts. I mean, it hurts not just the promoters, but it hurts the drivers too, because they want to go out and have fun.
There is
Yeah.
times when, we've actually spoke about it before. When it's a fair, that changes scheduling.
Yeah, you can't change the
Boone
fair.
County Fair is the same time. Shelby County Fair, same time. But when somebody is just putting on a derby and it's not fair based,
Like Paris.
correct.
Like,
We
I
don't have a
made
fucking
sure
fair.
that I wasn't laying on somebody else's fucking date. I made
Yep.
sure of it.
Yep. Unless it was West Plains, Missouri,
Yeah,
or
right.
somewhere in Kansas.
Yeah.
But nobody within a normal 2-hour driving distance. And just they just don't do that anymore. And I don't know if it's. We spoke a couple episodes ago. It's a pissing match, and everybody's hurting from those pissing matches.
Well, and then you get, like you guys, you get out of promoting because you can't get the car counts. The crowd wants to know why. And then these young guys don't know where to go
Mhm.
because, he's probably going to go where I decide he's going to go right now because of how we got our cars built, and you got to get the young guys into this, and the more options they have that are not on the same date, the more they're going to run.
Yeah.
There's kids in the gut and goes right now. They're going to want to step up to like what he builds and Cody and Tyler and Don and D, and they want to get out there and run with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way they're going to get that chance is if these shows are on different nights and promoters get their shit together and are able to communicate with each other instead
Yeah.
of being at each other's throats.
Yeah. Yeah, we've said it so many times without kids. And I say
with
kid,
kids,
I mean, hell, he's just 20. I mean, he's 20. But he's still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have those kids to move up, shit dies.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's no future.
Whether it's a Camry, whether it's a W body, whether it's a minivan, whether it's a.
Let them get a taste.
Correct. If he, he's played in the big car stuff
Yeah.
before.
Well,
And he keeps building them little pain in the ass cars.
They're more fun. They go faster.
They go faster.
They go faster. Compared to a big
I
one.
bet any chick would argue with that. After Palmyra.
Yes.
And I bet Dino might argue about it at Shelbina.
Yeah.
You ain't seen Hard Knocks come across the track, yeah?
Yeah.
And, Doyle's may argue the point with Trey Huber
Yes.
and Salisbury.
All depends what your equipment is.
Yeah.
It is.
And track conditions.
Yeah.
Track conditions.
The thing I have noticed about the compacts, being the front wheel drive, they gain traction fast.
Yes.
So they get there
Quicker.
quicker, but if you got 300 foot and 300 foot and it's the same track, you're going to get outran by that Lincoln.
The one thing I say about compacts, it's you can take one and run that son of a bitch all year long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you build it right in the first run or two, and it bends where you want, you can.
Well, I think you all proved that.
I mean, well, there's a lot of guys that have.
Well, didn't Cody say he had 29
Yeah.
runs?
I don't know what's on that old thing, but
on it. Pickens had 19 runs on it. It's because of the concrete in the doors, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's why it happened. And you ran one all summer long.
I started Paris 2 years ago, I think. That very last Paris show was the first show I ran that car, and then I just finished it this last.
It got through a year and a half or 2 years, but it's not like we go and run every weekend either, like those guys too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows that we don't, run. We'll go watch or and have fun or jump in and help. Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, it's not like you didn't have a full schedule, for this summer. But I know you were signed up, Greg. You got a Peoria spot.
Mhm.
Stock class.
Yep.
Did John
He
get in?
got into the hobo compact.
Homo compact. Good place for him.
I'd have gotten a lot of shit because I tried getting in there too. I was going to
Did
take two
you?
cars.
Should
But-
have just took a van. Should have gotten a van spot.
I'm not building a van.
No.
Drawing a line.
Hey,
in
we
the
got
sand.
an Astro van at home we can build.
It's a rear-wheel drive.
Ford 3.
But yeah, no, I did get into the hobo up there at Peoria, and he's in there, so that's what we're working on now, and it'll be. We've heard good things about that show, and wanted to try it, and lucky enough to get in, and
Well, hopefully Greg and I can sit down at one end of the track. Well,
yeah, we're gonna powder puff that son of a bitch.
Hold on. I've seen some powder puffs that get fucking rough.
You're right. You're
I
right.
watched that one at Shelmina. Holy shit.
That
Yeah.
one got way turned.
Oh, there's a few of the women out there. They know where that.
Oh, yeah. They know where that skinny pedal's at.
Absolutely.
You're one of them.
Or we're gonna sit down there and trade paint for a while. That's what we're gonna
I plan on rubbing the door wraps plumb off my car.
You're putting door wraps on it?
Of course. No paint though.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try getting graffiti, sewing graffiti beside my car.
I can do that. It won't look worth the fuck, but I can graffiti it.
do. Deal.
I could paint shit all over it.
I'll just draw a big old wiener on the side.
I was gonna stick a dildo on top of his. Right on-
First roof sign.
Hey, we went to a Christmas party last night, and I came away with a squeaky penis as a gag gift. It's going on his car.
Squeaky penis.
Put it under his brake pedal.
So now we're gonna get to John. John is going to Peoria in the compact hobo class.
Homo compact.
Those rules are such as what do you get? You can run a shifter,
Shifter.
simplified harnesses.
Simplified harness. You can run shifter, header. You can run. Actually, the cage that's in my mod car is actually going up there. It fits in the rules. So I'm running that. I'm allowed a built bumper, but not a replica. So gotta leave the pointy at home, sadly. But I'll be able to take my built bumper.
At least I ain't got to cut it off.
That is true. I'm allowed skid steer tires on the front with lip protectors, and I'm allowed my solids in the rear.
It's kind of an in-between build.
It's pretty much an in-between build. I don't know if I'm allowed any plates or not. I haven't really looked yet. And then I'm not allowed my pedals, so I have to run factory pedals from the car that came out in factory.
It's a little different.
You're not allowed an aftermarket pedal setup.
That's the only thing that I am not allowed that I have, and it's kind of weird.
I think I know why, but yeah, that's
You can use it to your
yeah.
advantage.
Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
So they're just taking that.
Especially if you think about it, maybe you put a 3-pedal setup in there.
Correct.
It widens it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Understand. So yours is a basic. You don't get to weld and weld and weld and weld.
Nope.
So it's a little bit more work than your gut and go stuff that you
goes.
run around here.
Yeah.
Okay. With a little bit more of advantages, if it's not completely junk, you can bring it home,
Put
build
some
it
plates
up or a
on it,
little bit,
yeah.
or even is it pretty close to like the Lucky Sevens hobo rules or Austin Johnson's hobo rules?
Well, we talked about it, and we said that if I have some left over, we might throw my cradle in it and take it to a show with cradles. So we'll see.
it's probably close to Austin's, I would say. I think I haven't read through all his rules yet, but hopefully he just goes up there and has a good run.
Yeah.
So I'll cry if he goes across the track in one shot and it's done.
Well, the last couple of years I've ran big shows. I haven't done very well. Well, we ran Blizzard Bash in 2020, 2019. I got 5th out of
Well,
30.
One year they didn't have it.
Yeah. So I got
Yeah.
5th out of 30. I went up there with Jordan Tobin. The following year they didn't have it. The year after that I went up there by myself. Didn't know a single person up there. I was like the second one out. And then went down to Indiana and kept losing my key out of the ignition.
That's
Couldn't
when we
find-
went to Mayhem.
Yep. Couldn't find my key. So I broke my stick then. Well, then that car ended up being a mod car for the California show. So I haven't really had very good luck at big shows. 5th place was about the highest I placed, but
Pretty good luck.
I'm hoping I can turn it around for Peoria. So
Well, there's 24 cars.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that correct? Every singles class is 24,
Yeah.
yep.
except for the street stocks, right? Because that's
five
five heats
heats.
of
25?
I think it's 25.
Is it?
Yeah.
5 of 25.
I don't know. Look it up. You have the knowledge.
I have the knowledge. So now, Greg, this build for you
I can tell you a little bit about his build.
is Steven's trying to
Easy
take
over
the
there.
entire shit out of it. Okay, there's 5 features of 120 cars.
So, yeah. 25 heat.
So it would be your 25, and they're running for 5, 2, 1,
24 cars there.
and then a Mad Dog.
Right? 120 divided by 5 is 24, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
Then your bone stock is your 24 as well. Bone stock compacts is what they call them.
Yeah, I think
24
that-
as well.
I think that heat will be fun.
Oh, I do too. I think it's going to be. I'm thinking about just not selling that other spot I got, and then we've only got 23 car or 22 cars.
That's one way to play the game. I mean, that's one car less that you got to worry about. So
Yeah, we look a little differently because we can haul 2 cars to a show too. So if we only got to haul 1 trailer and 1 truck, and we can venture out a little bit more. It's not
Yeah.
as much of a pain in the ass. So, but somewhere different would be nice. It's not that far, 4.5 hours. So it'd be exciting. So we didn't even get to go watch last year when they had that show, but we had some people up there that went, and they said it was real organized and good time, and the
We
hotels
watched
right
from-
there.
Yeah,
so.
we watched from my living room.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't know how long this is going to last. Like I said, quarter till 11 both nights, we were done.
But it's
And
better
I
than
mean,
falling
shut
asleep
off.
in the stands for a 2-hour feature.
And then you got the drive home afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many mixed emotions about what transpired last fall. In Topeka.
Well, we knocked that shit in the head.
I know we did. So I'm just hoping that a lot of people will take heed in what Sam is doing with the Peoria, with the Pecatonica, with everybody, and trying something different. And I think that's what you have praised so much him about,
Love it.
dude. Is
I love it. I like new shit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the South Dakota stuff comes out. And a lot of people around here are talking about going and being 12.5 hours for a lot of us. It's a long drive.
like I said, I haven't looked up an closest airport yet. But Bill was on with us last episode, and he said that he was all about trying to find an airport. So hopefully it all works. I'm hoping.
Speaking of Bill, I think he's standing outside.
Is he? It's kind of abnormal to ask. You are building in your realm of kind of what you are used to building, and that's pretty much same card,
Very similar.
very
Yes.
similar. You're not jumping off the deep end on a bigger show, on a bigger stage, to build something that you're not used to building.
No, and that's one thing with his rules that I looked at. You know, it's very similar to what we got. There's a few things you can't do that, you know, in like your guys' class, street stock, that, you know, so it'd be very similar to what I'm doing. And, you know, figure if I can do it in a week, we can take time and do it in a couple weeks. And
Well, hopefully you're not going to kill yourself. I mean, you've got a couple months. I don't think you've got to really neck it down to 2 weeks.
no, but at least it gives us time to do it. And, you know, if there's something left afterwards, we can do something local and have some fun with it. So,
Now, how do you guys work it? You know, you got 2 cars you're going to have to get built in the same amount of time. Your shop's only so big. Not very many people has got 2 welders, 2 torches, 2 porta powers. You know, the list keeps going on and on and on. How do you guys weigh it out building, you know, at the same shop, but 2 complete opposite ends of the spectrum on a build? How do you guys weigh out that time-wise?
Well, we were going to go with the compact car first because it was going to be an easier build. It was only supposed to be like a 2-week build. Well, then found out that one car that I pulled in there had bent frame. So now the builds are going to be about the same. But we're still going to do the compact car first. We started gutting mine out. We're going to get it all finished up, get the motor out of it. I've been pulling another car in that needs a motor. So I might as well just do the motor swap. We're going to put all of my stuff back in it. We'll pull it out. Hopefully within two and a half weeks, we'll have it done. It's an easier build.
So I say something about pulling it out.
let that be a lesson to you. Generally, just do 1 car at a time. You know, especially if you have a big car and a small car when nothing is the same. You know, if it's 2 big cars, okay, maybe you can do them side by side. And I can fit 2 in the shop, but it's tight. But generally, we'll do 1 car at a time, and we're just gonna do his first. It doesn't really matter to me which one we do first, and we'll get his knocked out. And when it's all said and done, set it outside, cover it up, and pull my big car in, and we'll get it knocked out.
I mean, usually here lately, your shop's been full of Dodge Cumminses that are broke down, and
Putting the motor in took longer than what it should have.
there's that Mopar, bro.
It's still sitting on a damn trailer at the house.
Hey, easy now.
Yeah.
Derek, you shut your mouth.
You shut your whore mouth.
But yeah, no, it makes for a good time, and there's nights we're at each other's throats, and there's nights that it just flows real nice. You know, it's
That has been one thing that I really have enjoyed about this build is I haven't had one guy come out for 3 or 4 hours and help me pull the motor and shit out just so that somebody could run the jack and shit
Mm-hmm.
on the backside of it. But other than that, like Cy, he comes out and sets and watches for a little bit. Every once in a while, hands me tools, but like I've been out there by myself and I haven't had to fucking listen to anybody.
well, if you've built by yourself for so long, it's hard for you to build with somebody. You know, it's different.
Yeah, and I mean, it honestly is. It's nice. I go out there. Usually, the other guy that's building out at the shop, he's usually busy, you know, working on his stuff. So I'm usually just kind of hanging out by
Well, the
myself.
snaps you sent, it looks like you're building out of somebody's bar.
He does have a bar.
That shop's nice.
But there's the big difference. If you are not strapped for time, when it's all fucking hands on deck to try to get something finished in just a few days, where you could work at your own pace, go build a little bit, you're not taken away from family time. You are right now have got some time, no work.
Yeah, well, the kids are at daycare.
Yep.
Wife's at work.
Yep.
And I've been getting up, dropping the kids off at daycare, and I've been headed straight to the shop.
And you don't forget the little things either, like a nut on your throttle or your shifter linkage.
Well, that and whenever I go to cheat, I mean, nobody knows what I'm doing.
The Mopar shouldn't need to be cheated.
It doesn't. They build themselves.
He's gonna drive in reverse the whole time, anyways.
You probably hit me in the front.
Well, that's the thing. Is
He knows better than I.
And I've seen a lot of good builds come out of a lot of people's shops. And without a doubt, the ones that they can take the time, go through everything with a fine tooth comb 2 or 3 different times.
I've never stripped a car this good. I'm serious. Like, I've never taken the time. I've pulled wires out of doors.
Mm-hmm.
I have, you know, it is bare bones.
It'll make a difference because you won't have those on fire when you're using a torch.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, you're talking the amount of time that I've been able to spend on the little bullshit. You know, even after I've taken all the trim and stuff off, putting the fucking screws back.
Screws back.
Somebody might need them. You never know. You know, you save
Filling
that
them holes in.
You save that trim panel, so he might be able to sell that trim panel, or he might be able to sell that dash, where somebody's wanting to.
Well, he just stripped the only one that's probably in existence that was clean enough to drive.
That ain't no shit.
But you know, like your Columbia build, you did all that shit in a week. You almost killed yourself. Seriously, I mean, you ran on no sleep for a week. You know, when you pull there, how much you're second guessing.
Well, and
What's
you don't
going
know
into
who's
your-
going to show up was the big thing.
Correct. Well, now you're in your head. You're like, okay, did I check this enough? Did I tighten this? Oh, bell housing bolts. Did I?
As sleep deprived as he was, he probably wasn't even thinking about that shit. I mean, I check. Fuck it. It's got fuel in it.
Yeah.
Just no tranny fluid.
No, it boiled it out.
It boiled
It
it.
blew it out, the dipstick tube. So it didn't like it very much.
I couldn't believe it. The car held up tremendous.
Oh yeah. He took that one shot right there in front of me, and I thought, oh shit,
Nope.
wasn't no big thing.
No.
Till I watched him go like this, and it
Yeah.
went nowhere. And I went, yep, he's toast.
Yeah, I broke a fitting down at the trans, and then all the fluid that was in there still came out at my fitting down there, and then there she wrote, got hot, and she's done.
I was staying warm that night. Forgot to tie.
You're wearing fucking shorts.
Yeah, I forgot to tie the overflow for the radiator up in. It was like a snake whipping on me.
That's always the shitty part when you're riding and you catch that hot antifreeze, or you catch that hot tranny fluid.
There's no way to stop it either, and it's such fast pace you can't like move or something.
He's gotten out of 2 of my cars. That was one of them.
No, I've gotten out 3. Warrington. Whenever I used the 1-inch wide ratchet strap as a seatbelt. That was rough.
Ow! Why did you even put a seatbelt?
Because they didn't think about it before I left the
He
house.
had to have
Had
one.
to
I had to have
one.
one, and he told me that he said just go get the ratchet strap. So I was like, okay, well I'll just go get this small ratchet
You
strap.
didn't grab the big one.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Well, I would have put it on, pulled through the gate, and as soon as I got out there, I would have been like, no.
That's
Your
usually how
luck,
I
it would have
am.
tried to get caught when you're trying to
Oh,
release it,
yeah.
pull your shirt in it, and then you were just stuck.
Yeah.
At Salisbury, I took after like the second hit, I took that seatbelt off.
Son of a bitch.
But he pulled through the gate with the belt on. There's the difference.
But back to the Peoria thing, I'm anxious to see the filler classes, because everybody that didn't have the stuff to build the street stocks and all that stuff, even some of the guys that did, they jumped back to a lighter build class. I mean, there's a lot of big car guys, even,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Big car guys.
yeah,
Like light
Blizzard
weld and
Dash
up.
Nationals
Yes.
side drivers.
Yeah, that are building a stock car.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Well, hopefully I can stay out of their way while they try to drive them like a mock.
They're only going to do that for so long.
That's what I'm saying. That's where Greg and I'm going to wait. I'm going to put Greg on the outside.
Well, if Greg's on the outside and you get shut up on the wall, then you're stuck in Greg's freeze. So.
You are not. You're going to be hard.
It's gonna
damn
be
it! I said that.
fast-paced.
Well, Whitaker put himself on the wall last year. In that
But those
side.
walls are legit out there. It's going to take some doing to get stuck on the wall out there.
And if I had to guess, Sam saw that happen once, and it's probably not going to happen
Right.
again. That fucker
Because
will be
that
a
is
straight
the
up
shittiest-
vertical wall.
That is the shittiest thing ever. Get stuck on a wall. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been there?
What, 2 years in a row, Blizzard Bash? 3 years?
Mm,
Got pushed up under a wall.
two years. Yeah, one got pushed up on the wall. Can't move nowhere. So
Broke
it
his
sounds like a
hands.
repeat. Sounds like we're talking to Teddy.
I don't like the walls.
He hadn't done that for a while.
No, but man, did he catch shit for a while.
He did. I remember, I think the first time I
15,
went
I
out
think.
there, Colt Doyle was on a wall, Teddy was on a wall, Corey Luddington was on a wall, and they're all on the same fucking wall, right in that same little V
Yeah.
right in front of 117, and they were all stuck right there
And now Teddy is putting people
on the walls.
on the walls.
Yeah.
But no, I'm anxious to see this Peoria deal. I know we keep everybody. I'm sure they're sick of hearing about it, but it's going to be something. Because last year it proved itself, and I think it's just going to get better.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've got some guys that don't normally get into big shows getting into this show.
Right.
So, you know, you got I'm a small fish in a big pond, you know. So it's, you know, you get out there and you have fun running with guys that you want to try to show them that you can hang with them for a while.
And that's what we talked about with Teddy. Don't get me wrong, I love our local stuff, but to be the best, you have to beat the best. And where's the best going to be at?
Yep.
Whether it's in Cannon Hills, Minnesota, whether it's in
Utah, wherever. I'm just saying that I learned more out there at Blizzard Bash running in that stock class than I ever did running any of these fair shows. Because it was almost like you couldn't outguess what people were doing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you run with these guys enough, you know how they're in drive. You run with the guys around home enough that you see how their drive style is, you know what they're going after.
Mm-hmm.
You can, I'm not saying you can predict their next move, but you know what they're going to drive like.
Well, just like you're saying, we know a few of the guys that are going out there and how they do drive. We just stay the fuck out the way.
Right.
I mean, even guys around here, I truthfully think most of the time, if they would go to a big show, they would drive the same way they do here.
Right.
I call them loose. We call them loose nuts, screws loose. They're just wide fucking open. They don't care what's in the way between point A and point B. Period. We've seen them do it here,
Right.
and then we see them turn around and do it the same shit.
Well, PJ is a perfect example of that.
1, 2, 3, he's already gone.
Wide open.
And he's already smoking somebody on the far corner.
And see, I'll be fine as far as the drive style goes unless that shit starts slowing way down. Like, if it starts slowing down, it's taking forever, I'll get bored. I know me. And then I won't have a car left.
That's how I am. I get tired of just going back and forth.
You fucking track shot in the first hit, you're bored, huh?
I got bored waiting.
Yeah.
I didn't drop flag quick enough.
Was he waiting on the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 part? Is that where he got bored?
I just took off on 3.
Where?
California.
He didn't take off on 3, but it was one had not came down yet.
Another Trevor Jones.
Fucking Grand Prix was done.
One shot.
I figured he ate it the next night, though. Made it about halfway around the track.
We don't have a driver's list. We don't know for sure who all's going, but we do know that all 120 street stock spots got filled.
Yep.
24 stock spots got filled in like,
Very quickly.
what do we say?
It was quick.
Like 3 minutes.
No, that's less than that.
No, it was like
yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah, it was.
6 seconds.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
The street
Well, I
stock
went
took a
back on
bit.
3 to get another spot. It was like 3 minutes later, and they were like completely.
Yeah.
Compact's the same way because we were trying to get him a spot, too, for it.
I could have got you a compact spot. I'm serious. I mean, because I was trying to make sure he got a spot.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. I did it. I hit it refresh. Screen went crazy. I hit it refresh again. Stock spot's gone. The only things that were available were the compact, hobo, and a van spot and street stock.
Well, I screwed up because whenever I hit it, I didn't realize you click more than one spot to choose one spot. I thought it was just only one spot you can choose. I didn't realize you could choose 2, 3, 4, 5
Yeah, I was up
spots.
to 10.
Yeah.
And so whenever I did it, I just pressed the one spot and
He just didn't
went
want me to
through.
show him up.
Now, I do know that it was brought up. Somebody was wanting to see if Sam and Chris and Nicole would actually open another 24 car field for the stock class. I haven't heard if they had made that a little solidified or not, but I don't know if it's. I think it would be another great thing.
Depends if they got the room for the cars on the pits and stuff like that there.
Correct.
So
I mean, you're talking another 24 cars and probably another 1,000 people. How far does somebody want to stay from the hotel? Middle of March. Last year was a snowstorm. Very well could be it this year. I mean, but
Good thing we don't have to fix shit.
see, that comes right back to no heats.
I love one and done.
No heats. No
I don't
fixing.
mind heats in the summer, but
It's harder in the wintertime.
in the winter when it's cold, I just assume one heat and done. That's just my preference.
I'd say one heat and done in the goddamn summer.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good time
So-
no matter what, if I'm running, but I don't mind a one heat and done.
Hey, before we start trying to wrap this up, go ahead and ask them about their numbers and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and get that info.
How'd your numbers start, boys?
Well, the wife actually got my number picked out a little bit, and she's always had. Ain't that right?
No.
Or no, that's John's, ain't it?
No.
He kinda backtracked,
Okay,
but-
so the reason why Greg's number is 34 is because I was born. Well, first he started playing baseball, when John was still little, and it was 43, and he did really good he's really good at baseball, but he did really good. So then when he started derby, and he switched to 43, but he wasn't having very good luck with it. So he switched to 34, and the reason why we stuck with those numbers is because I was born in 83 and Greg was born in 84.
Little mix of it.
So that's how we came up with 34. Once he started running that number, he started bringing home trophies and stuff, so it just stuck. And then when I started driving, my number was 43. And then John,
I was playing football,
Yeah.
and it was 54.
and
And
he
I'm
was
like,
really good at it.
I love this number. But then again, I quit sports when I got in high school. Looked at my future, said, oh, I want to start working, get a truck payment, build my credit, stuff like that. So I quit sports, and 54 just always stuck. And so therefore, I've always had 54. Well then, I'd say last year or 2 years ago, he came up with a name, MMO, to run it. I'm like, okay, so we started running MMO. Well then, I was listening to a song and it said FAFO on it. So I'm like, I kind of like this. So decided to put it down beside my car. Well, did good with the car and with that downside of it. So I'm like, well, it's just going to stick. So
I know what the FAFO is. What's the MMO?
Midmo Outcast.
Midmo Outcast.
It's funny. I always try to get that worked into these podcasts whenever we talk to people, because the stories that are behind that shit is usually just like what you all were just talking about. And there's usually a neat story, like how the whole hashtag filthy thing come from a set of glasses that were Walmart. It was fishing gear.
Well, it's not like we have a bunch of people to run with all the time. We know guys, but it's not like I'm building with 4 or 5 or 6 guys. I know guys that would get to the show or mutual agreement, leave each other alone until we get to the end or whatever, and if we get that far, but that's kind of where the Midmo Outcast came from. You just kind of by yourself, you don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you leave so much stuff up to chance when you go by yourself.
Especially
Even the dudes
when you know that there's going to be certain groups at certain shows and you still go.
And another thing too is Greg's always said it's always been him and John building the cars in the shops and stuff. It wasn't until this year, with my situation, that we found we've always had backing, we've always had support, but it wasn't until I was diagnosed with cancer that the support just poured in.
That's probably what
so
got me in
why-
a compact this year, to be
That's
honest.
why we always did the MMO, because it was all even at tracks. It doesn't matter if it's Blue Bash, if it's at Metal Mania. If they have 2 cars, I'm working on one of them. Or if we're at derbies, I'm working on one of them, because I know they have a list of things that they have to do, and there's things that I can do to help them.
She can run a torch, just don't sneak up on her.
So that's why it's just, to us, the MMO's always just stuck, because all 3 of us have always had each other's back. And it wasn't until this year, when I was diagnosed with cancer, that the support that has always been there but never really shown. Just kind of came out in like full blown, which has been overly amazing. With everything going on this year, especially the first year coming out of COVID, is like really hard for a lot of people. So it was truly amazing to see the people that supported us through this journey that we're not even through with. I mean, I still have 2 more major surgeries to go through. And the fact that, like you said earlier, I mean, he goes to work, he works 50 hours a week, comes home, works on these cars. After chemo and stuff, like, I'm zapped. And I just went back to work a couple weeks ago, and I'm still struggling.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been out for like 9 months, but I'm still struggling to work 40 hours. And he's putting in way more, so I mean, it's just, it really is, like, we are truly blessed, even though this year we had to deal with the devil, as far as cancer goes, the amount of support that has supported our family, and supported us, even though, some people kind of, didn't understand why he was derbying, but, the fact is, this is our life. And it helps,
it's a little bit of
it helps relieve his stress when he can get in the car and go out and have fun. And he's had so much stress on him this year that people don't understand until you go through it. I mean, it's been rough.
Not to make light of the situation, but at least you're not running locally hated on the side of your car.
This is true. I won't say somebody's probably tried to put that on his car before, but
I mean, that's the thing that we have touched on so much. Anytime in this sport, when somebody is in need, all us dumbass, dirty, filthy rednecks come together and just make it happen.
And it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Like, we've always helped out in the past, but being on that other side of the spectrum, people don't understand how much it means to that person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with us, we were overwhelmed. And, we've always, throughout the years and stuff, always tried to help out with other families, because you never know. You never know when you're going to be in that situation. And now that we're in it, we'll still help people out. I mean,
but I mean, it's still the thing.
It's a little bit harder right now because of our situation.
Yes, you've got insurance, but people don't realize how insurance works. You have been off work for
9 months.
9 months.
I ran out of time in June.
Yeah.
So June, July, August, September, October, November. 6 months without pay.
She does more months still.
3 months. Shut up. 3 months we had to pay for my own insurance, out of pocket.
Oh, yeah.
People don't understand that,
Yep.
And then not to mention just the bills are there.
Yep.
You go from 2 incomes to 1. It makes a big difference for people. People don't understand that.
We're going to have to turn Greg into a street pharmacist.
No.
Aren't they legalizing marijuana here soon?
Yeah, so you're hosed.
Yeah. Damn.
Wow, there's other drugs out there that can be sold.
And for a lot more money.
Well, let's start winding this down.
Yep, so we've got these guys are both going to Peoria.
Yep.
Any thoughts past that?
Not yet. Really depends on who gets what shows. You still have a lot of the shows that you guys had.
Right.
We don't know who's going to have what. Yeah, there's whispers of what's going to happen, and some good, some bad, and you're just like, well, you take it and you roll with it. But a lot of it just depends on what we see in the next couple months of who ends up with what shows, and it
I foresee a lot of that stuff coming out probably middle to the end of January, if I'm going to guess. I mean, that's about when people start coming out. But I don't know if there could be some bidding wars going on or maybe some real wars going on as well.
As far as big cars with me, Peoria might, it just depends what comes out of Peoria. If I buy some free chance to bring something back, I'll run it somewhere local. If I don't, might be the only big car I run this year.
Yep.
I might step down with him, and I guess you would consider it stepping up. But,
You are.
yeah. He's waiting to get a shot at me.
I couldn't take it at Salisbury, so when I break your rack.
But,
Shit's getting deep.
yeah.
Oh, it always does with these two.
And I ain't got my boots on.
Don't worry, I'll leave the fucking rack loose in his.
Sorry, John, I forgot that bolt.
But yeah, no, it's not really. We haven't really thought much about it. we're lucky to run a couple shows a year, so and it's just too much going on at times, and you just go with it. And when you can decide to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
As far as
Will
him,
it be a week before the show or not?
damn right. You damn right. He'll decide the night before he wants to do something, and it's just
Hey,
like,
Steve's
no.
never gonna doubt you again when you say you're building a show.
He
for
said he was
the
going to do
show.
it. He fucking did it. So I'll give him that. He was there.
There's been a couple times that he's told me, "No, you ain't running." Next thing I know is our cars in the shop, and we're getting ready to put it on the trailer, and we're going.
Yeah, he's got plans for 2 shows or one more show other than Peoria, so we plan that, and just depends what we get built and how quick. So,
Well, we appreciate y'all getting on here.
absolutely.
No
Glad to
problem.
have us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Make junk, boys.